All right, then let's get to the big one, Super Bowl 52. How are you reading this one, Brent?
Well, I've been following the money here, Rich, and the big money, and some big money has fallen, and it's fallen on the Eagles. MGM, which operates 10 different sports books here in the Las Vegas area, had Philadelphia plus 5.5, and they took a multi-million-dollar bet, a couple of $1 million and maybe even more after the juice was paid. They took the Eagles in the 5.5, and MGM quickly dropped it to 4.5, even if you want the Patriots money on that. So they're begging for Patriots money. And then a little bit later in the afternoon yesterday, a bettor came into the South Point and bet $500,000 on the money line, taking the Eagles. A couple of the big offshore shops had already dropped it to 4.5, although I did see this morning that 5 times it went back to 5, so some Patriots money showed there, and that's a Costa Rican book. And so most of the big bets have been on the Eagles, and that doesn't surprise me from the standpoint that last week the Patriots had to come from behind, down I think it was 14-3, then 14-10, rallied against a good but not an outstanding Jacksonville team, especially on the offensive side of the ball. There's been a lot of criticism by gamblers in Nevada over the conservative play calling by the Jaguars in the second half, and the Eagles were lights out. Lights out. There was a lot of money bet on Minnesota. And the Eagles just tore them apart. And Nick Foles looked like the second coming of John Elway or Peyton Manning. And so the bettors are always influenced by what they see last. I really haven't decided myself, Rich. I'm waiting to see that Gronk is cleared from concussion protocol. I assume that he will be, although he didn't play last year. And
that's right.
Let's see, James White, Edelman, Amendola, they all had great games for Tom Brady, and it's hard for me to go against. I had Atlanta, full disclosure. I had Atlanta last year and watched it wilt away. They had some questionable play calling down in the fourth quarter. Belichick and Brady have this wonderful ability to be calm when all hell is breaking around them, and they wait for the other side to make a mistake. Now let's go to Seattle. At the 1-yard line, bypassing LeGarrette Blount, throwing a pass, intercepted, Super Bowl victory for the Patriots. They seized the moment better than any team that I've ever watched in the National Football League. And when you make a mistake, especially in the second half, it's going to be lights out. They're very calm under pressure, and I think that gives them an advantage. Although Long and Blount are now over on the other side, and they can certainly help the youngsters on the Eagles in preparation of what goes on. I noted yesterday that the Eagles worked in pads. That means they're putting their heavy work in, as John Madden was the first coach to discover. Put your work in that week before you go to the site of the game. Then you've got to go to all the news conferences, you've got to go to the parties, and you do just some light work once you get to the site, which is Minneapolis in this particular case. So, listen, I've got such great respect for what the Patriots have accomplished over the years, but this is a very good Philadelphia Eagle team, and the NFC, in my opinion, was a little bit stronger than the AFC this year.
For more Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV or download the Rich Eisen Show app.